Hello, my name is Rosabel Alday and I am a student of PSBA MIS, and this is my course project in MIS6221 Computer Programming 1. I chose the topic group number 1, which are problem solving through flowchart 1 and 2, handling primitive data types, and what about ifs. So first we have to define what is a problem solving. So problem solving is defined as the systematic approach in searching for a solution or set of solutions to a specific problem, listing possible options and choosing the most efficient of them, providing weights to all possible scenarios and choosing the significant scenario. Problem solving in computer programming should satisfy the following. They should be solvable, goal-oriented, verifiable, quantifiable, doable in finite steps, doable in current technological limitations. So these are the symbols that we use in flowcharts. So the number one is terminator. It is a symbol. So So this is a symbol of a terminator. It is a symbol used to indicate the beginning or the end of the process flow. Next is process. This is a symbol. It is a symbol used to indicate a specific action done. Next is preparation. It is a symbol used to prepare data or initialize something. Next, data. It is a symbol used to retrieve value from the user as input or present value of the user as input. Next is decision. It is a symbol to connect two or more symbols belonging to the same page together to form a continuous process. It's always have two possible scenarios, the yes and no. Next is on-page. This is the on-page connectors, a symbol used to connect two or more symbols belonging together to the same page to form a continuous process. The last one is the off-page connector. It is a symbol used to connect two or more symbols belonging to the different pages together to form a continuous process. So we have a standards in flowcharting. So flowchart should always have two and only two terminator, the start and end terminator. So start terminator always starts the entire flowchart sequence. It should always be the first symbol found at the topmost of all flowcharts. And terminator is always at the end of the flowchart sequence. It should always be the last symbol found at the bottom of all flowcharts. Um, Flowcharts symbols should always have one and only one going out arrow. Flowchart can have any number of ingoing arrows. Flowchart are written from top to bottom. Flowchart should not have any outgoing arrow pointed upwards. Flowcharts should not have any overlapping arrows. So pseudocodes. Pseudocodes are not really an academic standard for expectant undergraduate students. However, there is a growing standard demand in the usage of pseudocodes not only in the academic sector but also the research sector. So they are a high-level description of a process in computer programming. They are generally user-centric and no defined standards for writing them. So we also have technical work items. To understand a given problem in computer programming perspective, it is essential to identify keywords and categorize them into steps as technical work items. So technical work items are short, keyword-driven phrases which summarize all the essential parts of the problem we put into consideration. Characteristics of a technical work items. They should be, first, concise. So having a shortly written work items help us identify exactly what we need to be accomplished. Next is unambiguous. This emphasizes on one important thing, the simplicity of how the work item was written. Next is specific. Each work items should point to only one thing that needs to be accomplished. So it should be classifiable also as either input, process, or output. Input are work items that require user intervention and ask for some actions from user, while process are work items that the computer itself will do, like perform some series of computations. Output work items are those that require the user to recognize results coming from our program. Next topic is handling primitive data types. So variables in computer programming, or in programming languages rather, when talking about variables, we have the so-called explicit, implicit, and anonymous variables. So explicit variables are variables that we declare, usually at the start of our application before any processing is done within, while implicit variables are variables that are used right away without the need of declaring them. Anonymous variables are variables that are used right away without the need of declaring them as well. So data types are the restriction we place to variables that limit them to handle only our specified type of data. There are two classifications of data types. They are classified by value and by construct. So we have to know the difference between the two. Classification by value is when data types are classified by value, we have explicit and implicit data types. Explicit data types are declared and defined. They often called strong type in some other contexts, while implicit data types are data types that taken depending on how they are stored or used. They are often called variant type. Next is classification by construct. They are composed of primitive data types and reference data types. Um, Primitive data types are data types of singularity by nature. They contain only the values they are supposed to contain, while reference data types are data types that are objective by nature. They do not contain the values they are supposed to contain, but also have other components like properties and functions. Classification of primitive data types in C++. So we have integers. They are values that are numerical. They do not have decimal precisions. Under integer, we have regular, short, and long data types. Next is floating points. They are values that are numerical also in nature. They also support decimal precision. Some examples are temperature, body mass, index, and height. Next one is the Boolean values. They are values classifiable to either a true or false. They are numerical in nature because C++ stores them as 0 or 0, 1 internally. True or false for Booleans are considered as non-zero positive integer. False value are considered as 0. They use bool identifier. The last one is the characters. They are the only primitive type that is textual in nature. Regular characters can only represent one character per variable. String can be represented as a series of characters. They use char identifier, whereas string use char variable or syntax. The last topic is what about ifs. So we have to know what code block is. So they are a series of programming statements that are grouped together. They are located within the curly brackets or braces opened by the brackets and closed by the end bracket. Global variables are variables declared outside the int main function. They are usually written anywhere in the same line of the declaration. and within the code blocks like the int main function code block. Next is local variables. They are variables declared within a specific code block and is accessed and used only within the said code block. And we also have conditionals. They are the means to set a different set of statements based on condition. They let us expand the capabilities of our applications through scenarios or states. So under conditional, we have two statements in C++, the if statement and the switch statement. So if statements are used when we have undefined conditional expression, may it be a single expression or multiple expressions, while switch statement is a conditional that compares one specific variable against a set of defined constant or values. A switch statement is started with a switch variable name, syntax, and ended with a closing bracket. So next, under um, under switch statements, we have to consider two things. So this is the break statements and the default statements. Break statements ends the execution of the specific value. Notice that all case statements are ended by a break statement, while default statement is an optional statement under switch which is executed should all of the case statement evaluate to false. We have also the nesting conditionals. So it is possible to create a nested conditionals depending on the need. You can create an if within an if statement. You can create a switch within a switch statement. You can also create a hybrid of if within a switch or a switch within an if. This combination mainly depends on your need as a developer. So this is the part 2. This is a part 2 and I just took a screenshot of my VS Code. This is the output. So that's all. Thank you.